Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome to another issue of Color Break, your third favorite comic book podcast. We are very specific about the name because you know, we don't want number one, and number two is just a battle for number one after all. So,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, this is issue 14. And if I'm mistaken, it's not, it's not a big deal. I don't think anyone cares. But I'm joined by, as always, by my co-host, Cody Collects.
What's up, Christian dude? How you doing, man? What you got
I'm
to drink today?
I'm having a nice beer.
Nice, dude.
That's it. What are you drinking, Cody?
Oh, dude, I got some passion fruit tea. You know,
You see,
trying
you
to be
failed
healthy.
me. Wow, thank you
I know
for
it.
saying that. As soon as I'm having a beer, and you're like, I am trying to be healthy. We're also joined by my dear friend Euro's Gift, Ivan.
Hi.
What's up, man?
Hello. What's up, guys? How you doing?
Welcome to the show,
It's
man.
nice to meet everyone here. It's nice to meet you, Cody. How you doing, dude?
So, like, Ivan, I gotta tell you, right? Christian's like, yo, should we have my buddy Ivan on? And immediately, I'm not joking, immediately, I'm like, yes, of course, absolutely. Because, seeing your videos, right? I just think you got so much energy. I really love your vibe. And I'm just glad to have you on, dude. Bringing it to the Color Break show.
Nah, that means a lot. Because I remember he texted me like it's the middle of the night. I'm like, are you dead ass? Are you serious? And he's like, yeah, we want you on. I was like, oh shit, I gotta get a webcam. Like I've been telling him, I'm like, I was so nervous. I was like, yo, I can't wait, bro. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I was worried. Like we were gonna start recording, and he was just gonna freeze. Like,
no, you know what though? It's interesting because it's not very often because Christian and I are pretty new to the whole comics thing, but it's not very often there's someone that's even more new than us. So that's what I think the angle is. I think that's why it's so interesting.
It's just
yeah.
I remember he told me I should make videos, and I was like, I'll sleep on it. And then like a week went by, he's like, make videos. I was like, I'll think about it. And 2 weeks went by, he's like, make videos. And I was like, he like, send me some pictures. I'll edit them to make your banner. I'm like, all right, you're really into this.
I'm like a college scout, just looking at it.
No, you could see something. Yeah, dude, absolutely. No, it's so funny, Ivan, too, because every week when you do your hauls, I can see you spending more and more money, dude. I'm like, we got this guy. He is so far into the hobby. There's no way he's going to be stopping anytime soon. We got
like,
Christian did his work. He did his job. Nice.
Yo, he's literally a villain. I tell him every day, I fucking hate you. Because every time I swipe my card, I'm thinking, fuck you, Christian. But thank you at the same time.
I think the same thing when I swipe my card.
Nice.
But nah,
every time I swipe my card, I say, fuck you, Christian. But we want to know. I mean, I know the story, but people who are listening don't know the story because they've never seen you before or just never talked to you in real life. How did you get into comic book? I mean, and not even into comic books. I want to know the whole story because I know you started watching, shows and shit.
Yeah. I guess if we're strictly talking comic book sense, I may have got into them straight up, not really in the sense of like superheroes, because I was into superheroes before comics, but I never really dove into reading the material. I was just watching it through like animated series or like live action. Like, if you know me, my favorite movie is Spider-Man 2. Toby's my goat. Nice. But I think in sense of reading, I didn't even start in this country. I went all the way to Japan and I started reading manga first. And I just kept reading manga and kept watching anime. And I kind of deviated from the superhero scene a little bit, but I was still like side-eyeing it a little bit. And then this asshole joined our workforce. And then what was the first book you showed me? I think it was Batman: A Long Halloween.
Well, I got you a book for your birthday.
Yeah, you got me Spider-Man because I told you about how much I loved my guy, Miles Morales. And I read that one and I liked it. And I was like, where can I get more? And you started talking to me about Phil's. And then you started talking about bringing me some more things to read. And I was like, okay, cool. And I think either it was Long Halloween or it was, I think, one of the Nice House on the Lake was like the first two you ever showed me.
Nice.
which is like, I think, like a great start. It's
Yeah, that
immediately.
basically you just fucking
That's great.
hook,
No,
line, and
that's-
sinkered me into that shit. You're like, yeah, I'm gonna give you
Exactly,
the
dude.
best of the best to make you insane about it. And I just kept on like I read the whole Long Halloween, I think like what, one shift? Like I'm answering calls, reading
Nice.
pages, like yeah. I was like, yo, Christian, I think it's him, and he's like, keep reading. And I just kept going and going and going. But the thing I think what made me like want to start collecting was when I first went to like Phil's. Like when he first showed me like Phil's, and like I took a drive over there, and I got my first little haul. I was like, oh, now I understand. Like, 'cause it's like you're a kid just in a candy shop. There's books everywhere. You don't know where to start, where to end. There's stuff on the wall. There's stuff stacked up in like little boxes for you to look through. Yeah, I got overwhelmed. I was like, I want everything in here, but I need to know what everything in here is first.
For me, the interesting part was you read. I remember I gave you some books to read. I gave you Long Halloween. I gave you Dark Victory.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember. I gave you a bunch. But to me, the interesting thing was you went with me to a comic book store for the first time in your life, and you bought all the books you had already read.
Nice. That's great. No, I mean that's interesting.
That sounds
a little
insane
bit.
though. It's like I've already read it, but I want it.
Well, so like to be fair, right? Christian hooked you up with like some of the better, like the cream of the crop type of stuff. So it makes sense that you'd want to have those in your collection to like read again. That makes sense. But it is interesting that you did it so fast. I think that's.
It's like I asked for like a sandwich, but he gave me a steak dinner instead, and I was like, all right, cool.
And I think single issue wise, I think it was Nice House on the Lake that was like this is the start.
Right, because as that's coming out, it's like now now Ivan's got to be sure to go to the comic shop whenever Nice House is out, and then buying other stuff around that. Yeah, dude, that makes sense.
It was too good. It was too good. It was way too good.
So I guess Ivan, like now that you've been reading, like what are some like besides Nice House, because that recently finished up volume 1. What are some like series that you've been liking either from DC or Marvel or Indies?
So far this came out, I've been enjoying the Miles run so far. I like kind of like where they're taking it now with him. They kind of giving him a little more struggle in like a more human sense. He doesn't feel like he's going through superhero challenges. He's going through like shit that really fucks with your head. Wait, am I allowed to curse on here? I don't.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, dude.
Okay. Yeah, like things that are fucking up his mind instead of just like him and like fighting a villain in a sense. I've been enjoying that. Things that I'd like to go back to, I guess. I've really liked reading the omnibus I got, which is of Black Panther. That thing is thick. I don't think I'm gonna be able to get through it in like maybe one sitting, but I'm mushing through it, and I really do understand why it was recommended in a video. If I had to recommend something, it's something he showed me, but Radiant Black, I love that. I love it. I'm loving it. It's like a Power Rangers, but not, and I love it so much. It's so cool.
Yeah, Radiant Black is sick. Yeah,
and the Donny Cates, I think Thor run also. Yeah, I like that. I need to continue. I finished 4, dude. I got to get the Hulk tie-ins.
Nice, dude. This guy sounds like a real collector, Christian.
It's one of those things where I started with superheroes, and then I was like, I should introduce the idea that like indie comics are a big thing, because it took me a minute to get into indies. And this is not factual, like it's not correct, but I would say the first indie I got was Nice House on the Lake. I know it's technically DC, but it does not. I don't think of it as a DC book.
No, for sure. Yeah, it's not. That's a really interesting point, Christian. I never really thought about, because it's like usually like it's DC Black Label, so they have more freedom to kind of do it's outside of the main DC continuity, but I mean it's not like a DC book like at all. It's in
I think it's because it's Black Label. That's why it's like that. It feels separate from DC because they're just doing different things. They're not like
but even for Black Label, they'll do things like Swamp Thing, and it's like
at least true. No, it's a good point. So like it has nothing to do with any, like the aliens aren't like some DC like deep,
No.
And if we get any DC characters in there, I'll stop reading it.
No, yeah, I'll be actually be pissed. So, like, I don't want Superman saving the day for this one. Let them figure it out.
It feels like it'd be at home. Like that seems like a Boom title like an image, like it'd be at home on Image or something. But
I think,
on
but
DC.
on a great level, I think if you're trying to get into indies, it is a good starting point because then you'll be like, oh, Tinian, he's a good writer,
right.
and then he's writing everywhere else. I think he has a book in every like major.
No, he shops around. You know, he's got a lot of ideas. Yep, for sure.
I mean, he has Image Comics. He has what, like 3 books in Image.
He's got like a ton at Boom, mostly focused on something is
Boom.
killing the children. Boom.
He's releasing one with Dark Horse this week.
Oh,
yep.
Like he does, like for example, Donny Cates sticks mainly to like Image, Marvel,
right?
But James Tynion is just I think I haven't seen him in Marvel, at least from my understanding. But
no, I think he started on DC. Like he mostly did like Detective Comics. I know he was on, and then he like took over the Batman title, and then started doing a bunch of horror stuff. And that's kind of where he's making all his money is doing the horror stuff. So.
Batman sounds interesting because I'm personally loving the Zdarsky run of Batman. I know it's the book that me and Ivan, since we work together, will go to the store on Wednesday together, and then Thursday it's like, did you read it? Did you read it?
Nice.
I think the funniest day for us was him fucking falling out of space. I'm like, are you serious? Like, we didn't even say he's reading it. We were just like, I was like, are you serious? He was like, yeah.
That's comics for you, you know what I'm saying, Ivan? It's like...
yeah. It's a trip, but I love it.
So that's a good point too, Ivan. Like, are there some, like, you know, as you're reading more and more, are there writers that you've started to pick up on and, you know, follow kind of their work?
I guess I'm more so trying to get into more like the writing sense. I've just been kind of following what heroes I like instead of just looking at what material I like. But I can't say that I do, and I can say I have a pattern of liking, you know, the Donny K stuff. I like his stuff. I know that I'm liking in the Zdarsky stuff he does. I like the Daredevil run he has, and I like, you know, what he did with Batman. Yeah, I'm just trying to kind of find new writers I'm liking a little bit more. So I'm kind of liking the new Static run. I like his writer; they're doing well, and I like the Miles Run's writer currently right now. But it sucks that I can't name them right now. I feel like a piece of shit. But
there's a lot of writers.
Hopefully, people that do watch this look into them because I do enjoy what the story they're doing with those 2 characters. So I am going to try to look more into writers now.
Yeah,
I mean, first of all, I do appreciate you feeling free to curse in the show. I appreciate the asking for it. Like, hey, can I do this? But I mean, one of the things that we want, and I don't know if it's marketable. Like, I don't know if the companies would be like, "Oh no," but I don't really care. The whole thing is that it's supposed to be super relaxed.
Yeah,
well, we just won't show them this episode if we're trying to get some brand.
Oh no, this is us, okay?
It's true. It's pretty authentic.
Yeah, I mean, if Steve-O's getting deals, you know.
Oh yeah, if he got them, yeah, we're good. You're fine.
That's true.
You got it.
But to me, one of the interesting things about you is that. And we've talked about your favorite superheroes, and I think it's the first time that even if it's subconscious, you do relate to them. Like for me, I always say that like the Flash, he feels like a big family man, and that's me. And Spider-Man to me, which is interesting. I was thinking about this. I was always like, oh, Spider-Man's a loser. Hell yeah, that's me. But then I realized like Spider-Man just thinks he's a loser. Like, he has all the girls.
Gwen. MJ, who else did he have?
Black Cat.
Yeah, Betty, Black Cat. Yep, he was.
For me, it's every girl. Any girl that walks by just likes Peter Parker, and to me that was like maybe I just think I'm a loser.
The Chrysler.
No, Christian, it's a good point, dude. Because like, if you really think about it, I mean, he was only a loser for until he was like 14, 15 or something like that, dude. Then he's.
As soon as he lost the glasses, it was up.
But no, Ivan, I do want to get into your favorite characters because I know we will joke about this, you know.
Yeah.
But it is to me, it's very cool. Like it's something that I think is important, and I think people don't get that.
Yeah, because I didn't notice it until like I listed them to you. Like I was like, oh yeah, this is what I like as my favorite characters. I was like, oh wait, all of them are black. Like I was like, all right, cool. It's just I feel like I just have a familiarity, and when I was growing up, just watching those characters on like the animated stuff that I watched or any movies that I saw, I just loved it. So I just gravitated to them, especially Static being my number one like comic book character or superhero in just all time. I remember waking up in the mornings just watching it and just being like kind of like motivated to be like a better person because I'm watching like this black character be a superhero and defy statistics and be better than what people think he is. And I feel like that's a lot of what kids need, a little more. I don't think people need to see, which I think is like what I want to see more of, like people coming in with like DCU with the Superman age now, like coming with a new Superman. I want to see what we know in like the comics and just through anime series, the human at heart. Like Superman's more human than anybody else, so people want to relate to that, and that's cool. But I also like how we can find characters that are of different colors, maybe black, Asian, Hispanic, and all that can bring us like a little sense of like familiarity or sense of pride. People with Black Panther, how they all showed out for the movie, and people finding familiarity with Namor, with how the context of him with the Aztecs are coming in. And I think it's a nice thing to see kids just look up to characters again. It's really cool because I did that when I was a kid. We all did it.
I think for me, there were two moments. When the Black Panther movie comes out, I remember nobody really said anything. Black Panther is a character that's been here for decades,
Mm-hmm.
But you do hear sometimes like, oh, of course they're making this character Latino, of course they're making them Asian, black. It doesn't matter, but you hear it all the time. And I remember I was working at the mall, and when Black Panther came out, and I saw a little kid dressed up as Black Panther, and he was like, he looks like me, and he was like 5.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember seeing that, and I was like, oh, he relates, and that's why it's important. But also, I remember as a kid, I grew up, I'm not watching the show, but I remember watching the Justice League show every now and then, and Jon Stewart was Green Lantern, And then I remember one day they released the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern movie, which, like, ignoring how bad it is, my first thought, being ignorant and not knowing enough about comics, my first thought was, they made him white now?
Is it bad that I like hate watched the Green Lantern movie like 3 days ago? Like I just had it on and I was like, it's not terrible, but it's like, oh, they could have done so much better.
Well, let me ask you this, Ivan. Were you doing something else, or did you actually like sit down and watch it? Because that's always my question when someone says they watched Green Lantern. I'm like, did you watch it though?
Yeah, no, look, okay, I had a bowl of cereal and I was like, I need something to watch.
So, gotcha. No, I feel you.
And then I put it on, and then I finished the bowl of cereal, and I was like, oh my god, this shit. I was like, Ryan, oh, no wonder you killed yourself in Deadpool like that.
No, Christian, I think you have great. Those stories are great, and I love when you bring those up. It kind of similar to that. I always tell the story of my. I don't know if I've ever told it on the pod before, but my mom and my sister. I was in the theater. They were watching Wonder Woman had just come out. So like that moment where she's like stepping out of the trenches, dude. Ooh. I like look over and my mom is like losing her shit. Like it's like Wonder Woman, like back in the day. Like what was her name? Linda Carter, right?
Yeah.
Like she loved that show. So no Wonder Woman, she's not so big into other superheroes, but Wonder Woman is like her, that's her favorite. So seeing that moment was super cool because she was like clapping and stuff in the theater when Wonder Woman's been all badass. And then a similar moment, she when we were watching Shang-Chi, because as the trailers were coming out, she's asking me, who's this Shang-Chi guy? Because obviously my mother is Asian, she's a Chinese and Vietnamese, so it's like seeing all like the iconography in the trailer. She's like, who is this guy? It's like an MCU or whatever. I'm like, oh my god, yeah, we should see Shang-Chi. And she loved it, dude. She loves action movies too. It's like that moment on the bus, right, where he's just kicking ass.
Oh yeah.
She fell in love with Simu Liu in that moment. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, for me,
I totally get what you guys are saying about representation and stuff. Because
for me, that's one of the things is you think back to like the 70s, and I think to me like it's a deep cut, but the Bionic Woman, the 1976 show, I think it was not for girls. Like, I mean, yeah, girls loved it, but it was for everyone. Anyone who liked it, it was like, oh, like it's just a cool character. And I don't know when there was that divide of like, oh, now they're making it to appease this group or this group. I will watch any superhero movie, and I think like to what, and it's not really related, but I remember I watched Shang-Chi with my brother, who doesn't really watch Marvel movies, doesn't really watch movies. But I wanted to go with someone, so I asked him to go, and I remember he told me, and I think there's a good like if ever you see a new superhero movie and you don't know the character, my brother told me I can't watch that. I don't know who that is, right? I don't know who that is. Like, how am I gonna watch that? And I told him that's every movie.
You find out in the movie.
Yeah,
I didn't watch La La. I didn't watch La La Land. I didn't watch La La Land saying like, oh, I know who that guy is. It's Seb, you know. But it is. I think now we're conditioned to watch these movies and expect to know everything. And oh, I need to read up on this. Just appreciate the characters. You know, there's characters that are cool, and you don't need to know their backstory. And it doesn't matter who they are. Just watch it. You know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, in the case of Shang-Chi, I mean, that's like his origin story, so that's like a perfect place. It's okay, Christian. You brought up a good point, right? The fact that there's so many MCU movies that it's like so daunting, and it can make someone feel like, oh, I don't know if I can show up in theaters for that one because I haven't watched like the last 3 movies, and I'm missing 2 Disney Plus shows, so it really feels like I can't. It's kind of the same thing in comics, right? So Ivan brought it up.
Oh yeah.
You walk into the comic store for the first time, and you're just like so overwhelmed, and you just want to read everything, right? It's kind of how the movies are.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my biggest criticism of what's it called, the Eternals. People are like 10 new characters in one movie. You want me to fall in like get to know all of them? Any single movie in history. I mean, watch Fight Club. There's like 100 characters, and you don't know any of them.
That's a good point.
I think it's the worst criticism.
So we've had 3 Star Wars trilogies, and y'all are worried about getting to know a few characters. At least, we had 3 sets of characters, and you all care about them.
Oh yeah, everyone. I know some people watched the Mandalorian trailer, and they were like, "Oh, Babu Freak. Why do you know the little alien's name?"
With the goggles, dude. All right, don't be slandering. We love Babu Freak on this podcast. Don't slander him, dude. Come on.
We just found out about him.
but yeah, I mean, I think, and I understand, but I think Ivan did the right thing. I think my biggest advice to anyone who's trying to get into comics is just ask.
Yeah, I was like, what do you recommend?
Yeah,
we win.
Phil will hook you up, right? I've heard Phil's pretty cool. So I want to talk.
Cool.
Yeah, so dude, Ivan, take me back to the moment you walked into the comic book store, dude. Like, did you set up a pull list like on the spot, right? Like, are you buying like a short box, dude? You buying like bags and boards?
I just gunned it to wherever I thought I could find something. I saw a bin in the back that said 50% off. I said, I'm gonna try it here first.
Nice.
I found the Flash. I found a Flash trade paper. I was like, okay, cool. I like the Flash. I wanna learn more about the Flash. And then I was like, Christian, where's the Miles stuff? And he was like, it's probably over here. It's like over there maybe. And then I kept looking around there. I found some trade papers there. I think I bought a bunch of trade papers, and then I think he put in my hand a Nice House on a Lake. I'm not sure. I think it was mainly just a bunch of trade papers that I was going for at that point, because I was just looking for things that I had read already, but also things that he told me I think I would enjoy reading. So I just kind of went and grabbed them. An expensive day, but it was fun.
Yeah, my favorite thing, and I will give Ivan shit for this every single day because I have done it before, is that Ivan is the only guy I know who keeps his comic books at work.
Wow.
I only have a few. I don't have space. I need to get a shelf. I have no space already. I have no space.
It feels familiar. I walk into work and I see his desk, and it's just trade paperbacks, and I'm like.
Nice, dude. All over his cube. That's awesome.
It's just if anything, people can read if they want to. I'm leaving them a free little library if they get intrigued. I'm doing a service, Christian.
No, the funny part is, like, I don't think anyone's gonna steal them too. You know what I mean? Because like,
no, it's remained intact.
It's not like it's something like something. Useful to like an everyday person. It's not like a laptop or something. So
yeah, they don't know what it is. I'm not taking it.
whatever, dude.
Yeah.
Like some fucking
we do
books.
have a big topic this week, and Cody, I
Oh.
want you to
Let's
mention
go for
it.
it, dude. All right, so we all saw Ant-Man. I'm sure listeners and viewers, you can see it in the title. Christian and I didn't have an outlet to talk about this movie, man. And, so my thoughts here, Christian hasn't heard them and vice versa. And then we got Ivan, who I've heard you guys saw the movie together. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so let's start there, right? What did you guys think? Overall thoughts? And I guess maybe we can do it like kind of spoiler free, and then we'll tell you spoilers, and then all's fair game after.
Let's do that. We'll do like a first thoughts without spoilers, and then we will say, "Hey guys, get out, leave."
It's been like a week though, hasn't it? It's been like a week. They have time.
At this point, when this comes out, it'll be like a week and a couple of days.
I feel like nowadays you should know the culture. It's like someone's gonna spoil something on Twitter.
You gotta see it like weekend of, or else you're just screwed.
You're walking on thin ice.
Yeah, dude.
So I can start with mine. I understand people's criticisms of the movie. It's not a perfect movie. I did give it, however, an 8 out of 10, which is high, and I admit that even for a movie that's not perfect, it's really high. But the reason why is because I knew people hated it. Like, I saw like the reviews, and maybe that helped me walk in being like, I'm not expecting anything from this. I'm just expecting a fun time, and it was a fun time. Not every joke landed, but I enjoyed every single like scene. I think the CGI was pretty good. People compared it to Shark Boy and Lava Girl, and I don't get it because it was pretty good. Just because you have a floating face doesn't mean it's Mr. Electric.
Was that his name, Mr. Electric, dude?
I don't know. I just made it up.
George Lopez was Mr. Electric. Yeah, he got it right. That's Mr. Electric.
I don't mean to derail your point, Christian.
No, you're right. But it was a big thing. People were posting those pictures everywhere, and I think it helped me walk in, not expecting anything good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I walked in, and I loved it. I mean, it's not perfect. It has a bunch of mistakes. A bunch. But at the same time, it's a movie. I mean, it introduces a big concept, and maybe that, I do wish they had expanded more in the quantum realm, even though the whole movie is there. And I don't think that's a spoiler. I think some characters were really good. I think Michael Douglas, for the first time, they used Hank finally they used Hank, I think Cassie, no hate to Catherine Newton. I think she did a very good job, and I think she's a great actress. But I think they did write Cassie thinking of like, oh, she's still a girl, right?
Yeah, and then obviously the actress who played her is very 26. Much not right. So some of her lines that is one criticism that I'm sure a lot of people have. They're getting beat over the head with like her lines are always terrible,
But I'll put it out there, Catherine, if you're listening, and you're not, you did great.
No, exactly. Like I think she played her role how it was written and how she was supposed to. It's just maybe they should have written like maybe casted a younger actress. Maybe that's like the disconnect people have is I don't know.
But I mean I know why they have her, and it's mainly because I think if they're going for Young Avengers,
Yeah,
for sure.
And I think she does have the personality to be in the Young Avengers.
Agreed.
Yes, I can agree with that.
I think my issue with Scott Lang is that Paul Rudd is just so lovable, and he's so funny that sometimes when he needs to get serious, he gets serious. Like, he's a good actor, fantastic. I'm looking at him like he's Mike from Friends,
Yeah, I can't take him seriously sometimes. It's just like I see Paul Rudd. I'm like, all right. It's like, all right, guy. I do you, but all right, guy.
But then we have Jonathan,
much Paul Rudd.
And then we have Jonathan Majors, who just demolished it. I don't think I saw someone say, and I don't remember who it was. I didn't really care for that opinion, but someone said like, "Oh yeah, Jonathan Majors like embarrassed every other actor." No, he didn't.
He killed it though. I'm not gonna lie, he
Yeah,
killed it.
like he killed it. But Michelle Pfeiffer was one of my favorite actresses in the movie. You know,
Mm.
so it's yeah. He of course. Okay, we're bringing in Kang, and we picked a good actor for Kang. So of course people are gonna go in and expect to see Kang. So that's gonna be the character they pay the most attention to.
Yeah, but I feel like the thing that just made it better was just like he was actually intimidating. Like I was like, oh shit. And I was like, every time he was talking, I was like, he's gonna kill somebody probably. Please don't. Please don't.
Dude,
like, he was.
So I guess before Ivan goes, maybe I can jump in, Christian, and say my thoughts. And I'll start with the Kang things. I think Jonathan Majors, like, there's so many moments where, like you guys are saying, like it's very different than how he played it in Loki, right? Because I think people were, coming into it and like, oh, is he gonna be like so wild and stuff like that? Nah, dude, he was calm, cool, collected. He's doing like fucking finger things, and people are flying all over the place, banging into shit. I thought Jonathan Majors killed it. He's got a lot of range, and you can see that. And dude, and it's so funny because there's gonna be Jonathan Majors is gonna have to play like 100 different versions of, you know what I mean, like different variants. So I don't think people are ready for Jonathan Majors. People aren't ready.
I think we were talking about
but
that.
Just overall, I thought I liked. Oh, sorry. What's up, Ivan?
No, go ahead, Cody. You got it, bro.
Oh no, no worries. So I was just gonna say, like, overall, I thought the movie was I thought it was really good. I think maybe 8. That might be where I'm at. Maybe like a 7.5 or something like that. But dude, honestly, Christian, I don't even know what any of the criticisms are. Like, honestly, I haven't this whole weekend. Like, I didn't really go on. So hearing you say like these, like, they're saying the CG's bad. Is that real?
Yeah, people are saying it all the time.
Yeah,
I mean, okay, so maybe in the moment that you're referencing, like, okay, maybe it did look a little weird, but like when they're in the quantum realm, dude, every scene blows my mind, like visually, what's going on.
Yes.
Like I can't even process it. So I totally disagree with as far as the visuals. And then I think you summed it up with all the actors and actresses' performances. I thought everybody did a really good job. Like you said, though, not perfect. There are definitely mistakes in it, and we'll definitely get into that with spoilers. But I don't know if you like people that are already into MC movies, you're probably already seen it, right? And all the haters that are complaining about it, I guess, they're still gonna hate watch it, just like Ivan watched Green Lantern, you know. So I don't know. That's just how I feel about it. Ivan, go ahead, dude. Let's hear your thoughts on.
I do want to piggyback on what Christian was saying. Even though Jonathan Majors didn't murder anybody in this, everybody was doing a great performance. I liked how everybody was used. I feel like they didn't use Hope's character as much as the title let on. She was like a very big side character in this. Like she was kind of like an afterthought, or like kind of like a piece of plot for Scott. Maybe that's about it. But Jonathan Majors, just in general, like you were saying, he was calm, cool, collected. He left an imprint on each scene that he was in. And I definitely feel that they picked the correct actor for just Kang in general, because we're going to have different versions of Kang, and seeing how versatile he was from Loki to here, and just seeing how Hollywood's basically using and abusing him with Creed and everything. I think Jonathan Majors is going to kill it as Kang, especially the end scene. Me or Christian were talking about it, where he was like, just there's this bunch of Kang just screaming their heads off at the like. It was just hilarious for us. It was like, yeah, he's going to do great. He's going to do just fine. That was like the period point of that. But I don't think the CGI was bad either. I don't know why people thought that. Maybe like MODOK looked a little funny, but that's the whole point. He's supposed to look ridiculous. Like he's not supposed to look regular.
So I think that's let's just jump into spoilers, dude. Jump into spoilers.
Let's put it out there, guys. If you haven't watched the movie, kindly get out. Come back. Come back when you finish this.
You know what? If you haven't seen it and you don't want to hear spoilers, go watch our Ultimate Spider-Man color break one shot instead, because that was fire. Go check that out instead of watching this.
Yeah.
But okay, so now that that's out of the way, Christian, or I guess both of you, what did you guys think of MODOK just in general, because
I
I
hate that they
thought,
showed us his ass.
dude, that butt looks so fucking weird, bro. All right, so I'm conflicted, right? I'm so conflicted because that's easily my biggest pet peeve with the movie is how they handled MODOK, but it's not because it didn't make sense in like the MCU. Like it totally makes sense that I just watched Ant-Man 1 like in preparation for seeing Quantumania, and it totally makes sense to pull Darren Cross from that. And you know, when he's getting all shrunk, they showed it in the montage, like he has a big head now. It totally makes sense, and like it makes sense that he would evolve into MODOK. But it's that problem that the MCU has had for a little bit, where it's just like these one and done villains that,
Yeah.
and it's like MODOK is supposed to be like this crazy dude in the comics, like it's total weirdo, and I just wish they kind of saved him for something else, I guess. But I don't know. So I'm very conflicted on MODOK. I'm curious what you guys thought of MODOK as a villain.
For me, and this just, I mean, some people might think I'm ignorant, and if you want to see I'm stupid or I don't know enough about comics, yes, that's the whole that's the whole fucking point of this show. We don't know enough. Okay. For me,
we're learning.
I came in watching the MCU, no knowledge of comics. I knew about MODOK through like Superhero Squad, that like children's show that my brother used to watch, and I thought Armin Solo was MODOK. Like that's just, I saw guy, he's on his screen. I didn't know enough. I was like, oh, maybe they'll take it there. So I never really cared about MODOK that much, and which is why it didn't affect me that they, you know, spoiler, killed him off. Yeah, that's just I just didn't care enough about that character. I mean, I've been reading comics for a year, and he hasn't shown up a single time.
Fair. That's fair. But I think they killing him off. Even though I feel like, I mean, with Cody on, like they kind of killed him off a little too early. I do understand Christian's viewpoint because I don't know much about MODOK either. So I was like, oh well, there he goes. We had him for like 5 seconds, but hey, it's fine.
I think it's really like this. It goes to the problem that the MCU's had for like a little bit, where it's like always like the secondary villain is always like kind of like wasted potential. The big example in Black Widow was like Taskmaster. Because you know, Taskmaster in the comics, I mean, that guy he's a menace. He like destroys stuff, right? And people weren't a fan of how they changed Taskmaster. I think is Taskmaster showing up in like the Thunderbolt show? I forgot if Taskmaster's in that.
I think he's supposed to be.
So you know, that's a case where, you know, maybe they can redeem that character a little bit, but yeah, it's not like the end of the world. It's just, I mean, maybe going forward we see like a variant. I mean, that just opens up like the whole can of worms of possibilities. Like maybe a MODOK variant is bigger and badder, and he can be. But I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, about this movie, like getting into spoilers and saying my true opinions. First of all, some people were saying like, because the same person who wrote this is writing Kang Dynasty, right? And people were like, oh, I don't know. People were like, I don't know how I feel about that. And this is not my original idea. I saw this on Twitter. The same person who wrote Dark World, Thor: The Dark World, wrote Endgame or Infinity War, one of those. Regardless,
right?
I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean,
yeah, I mean, to me, right, I think the job of like an MCU writer, I think your stuff's gonna get like rewritten, edited, drafted like so many different times that, and you're right, Christian, like you really shouldn't hold like a writer to, I mean, same thing for comics, right? Like I wouldn't judge Joshua Williamson's next work, even if I didn't like most of his work, because he wrote Rogues, right? And Rogues is so good that it's gonna make me check out whatever Joshua Williamson's next project is. So yeah, I don't give too much credit in, you know, everybody, oh crap, he's writing Kang Dynasty, it's gonna suck now. Yes. I don't know, because I mean, on the flip side, it's being directed by the guy who did Shang-Chi, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, it balances it out. I mean, that's gonna be a really good movie. What do you mean, right? Like,
I can talk about my biggest problem with this movie, which I think is very valid, and I haven't seen enough people talk about this. I might even make a TikTok about this. Scott Lang spends 5 hours in the quantum realm. Correct? It's 5 years on Earth.
Okay, so I see where you're going. I think I saw this somewhere. Like in that moment, he went into like a time vortex, and there's all these you know, Janet talks about like time vortexes and how they work weird. So like there's a time vortex before you get to the quantum realm, and if you get stuck in the time vortex, that's when weird time stuff happens. And I guess that's what the Avengers use to travel through time. It ultimately doesn't matter because it's all fake comic book bullshit. But Christian, I know what you mean. Like the rules of the quantum realm are just so like.
Well, that's the thing. Like I said earlier, I think they could have expanded the quantum realm more. I never like. I mean, movies. I remember when they were short as shit. Me and Ivan read a tweet today when it was like, I wish movies could be bad and short again. You know.
yeah, it's like a 90-minute film or something completely bonkers, but it's like it's bad, but it's like it's kind of like culture resetting. It's like,
but
like Cocaine Bear,
right?
But this movie could have been 3 hours, and I would have been okay with it.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like they could have extended it. I feel like they had a lot more to play with there that they just didn't do. I was all right.
I feel like my biggest. The thing that did make me angry, and it's the one thing I didn't like, is that they saved Scott Lang. I mean, the fact that like you think he's stuck, and then like 2 seconds later he's out of the quantum realm.
I'm just like, okay, what's the point of the suspense then? I just saw you crush his helmet for what then?
So totally, I think that is my biggest criticisms are like the plot holes like that. I mean, that's just such an obvious one, right? Like I don't want to get into that whole thing because that is like the biggest glaring plot hole is like what was that end portal and why couldn't she have done that like before or sooner if she was already on this side, like all that stuff. I don't. That's where you start to lose me a little bit because it's kind of hard to make that jump and get past that when it was happening when I was seeing it in theaters. Like you said, I think it took a little bit of the suspense away after the the cool fight scene or whatever. But yeah, like my biggest criticism are plot holes like that where it just doesn't make any. I don't know, but if that's the only problems, I mean that the movie's like I said a 7.5, right?
Yeah,
like it's still a super fun ride the whole way. It's just a couple little plot holes here and there, I guess. But
the MCU is very important to me. Like I think, and I watch it with my family, I watch it with my girlfriend, I watch it with my friends. Even then, I still find a place where I can say it's just a movie.
Yeah.
And it's extremely important to me. Like I'm already telling Ivan we have to go watch Guardians of the Galaxy.
We're doing it.
We're planning it from now. It's months away. So it's important to me. It's something I hold near and dear to my heart. But in the end, unless it's like an insult to who I am as a person, it's a movie.
Yeah.
It's only a movie. It's just fiction.
And I'll say this. I think this might be an interesting question to ask you guys. Like, Christian and I were texting about it. We didn't get too deep into it because, we want to save our thoughts for the podcast. But just gut check. Like, where do you think this would land for you? Like rough estimate, right? And I immediately told Christian, I said, I mean, it's probably in the top half of MCU movies. Like, if you're in the top half, I think you're doing great. Like, you're among great company. I mean, that's where, like, it's better than most of the Iron Man movies, I think. It's better than most of the Thors, I think. Like, I think I like it better than Love and Thunder and definitely Thor 2, so it's already better than half the Thor movies or whatever, right?
I did like Iron Man 2,
personally, I would say, like, easily top half. Like, that's just a gut check, rough estimate, but I don't know what you guys think about.
For me, I mean, my biggest concern with this is someone grabbing a clip and making it look at these dumbasses. I can name at least 10 movies that I hated more than this.
Dude, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like what? So hearing you say like that people are. I've seen a lot of Snyder Bros hate on it, which I think is just so funny to me. Like that blows my mind.
Get over it. His movie was 4 hours long. Not everybody watched it. DC is being revamped. Get over it.
Ivan. It's so funny though, because like, okay, if I had a gun to your head, Ivan, right now, right, and I'm like, watch Aquaman 1 or Quantumania. It's like, dude,
Quantumania.
You know what I mean?
Quantumania.
Like
the swimming was cool, Aquaman, but Quantumania.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Like it's better. It's better than almost all of the Snyderverse, bro. Like, what are you guys talking
No.
about? That's the only criticism I saw was from that corner of the internet.
Yeah, it's not a bad MCU movie at all. I definitely put it in the upper
There-
half too.
there-
I would.
There's really bad MCU movies. Like, let's admit
Mhm.
that. There's some MCU movies that I couldn't care less about. I mean,
Mhm.
and even if we start talking about like, okay, let's separate it by steps. CGI sucks, right? Ivan, I know how important this is to you, and I know how important it is to me.
Mhm.
Go watch Black Panther
Amazing.
right now. Watch the final scene.
Like in the train, like
Yeah,
or whatever.
and tell
Yeah.
me it doesn't look like a PS3 animation.
Yeah, it's not the best, but it's still a
Like
good
the
movie.
CGI and that's the CGI in that scene sucks, and it's because they were rushed. It's not no fault to the
No, of course,
the
of course.
artist, but that sucks. And it's a movie I love. I mean, like people are like, "Oh,
Exactly.
Black Panther's like top 5," you know, but like the CGI of Black
Mm.
Panther sucks, honestly.
It held its own until that last scene. That was it. That last scene, they fucked it
Like
up.
that
It was
that
okay.
that train fight, I didn't notice it when I first
Yeah.
watched it because I was like, "Oh my god," and then I rewatched it and I was like, "Oh, this is horrible."
Yeah, I
Um,
looked back at it. I was like, oh, okay. So that's what you're doing.
Still, I would say Black Panther is maybe top 10, top
Mhm.
5 in the MCU.
hmm
Yeah,
I agree with that.
So like, if we can
because
look past,
you're a rational human being, Christian. You can look past the movie's flaws.
And see its greatness.
Yeah,
I mean, if we can look past like that, people are like, "Oh well, there's some plot holes because like, I mean, shut the fuck." I mean, in Endgame, we have Scott Lang fixing the time machine, and then we have giant men running around the field, and no one's been like, "Movie's ruined. Let's get out."
It's like,
right.
it's like, what happened? What happened there?
It's just like they were like, people were like, "Oh, you know, a small mistake." No, it's not. I mean, but that's the thing. I love all those movies. Let's look past those small mistakes and let's admit that it was a fun time.
Yeah, it's a good movie to watch.
Okay, so here's another thing that I wanted to bring up before we, before we wrap up Ant-Man talk, right? I think it's so funny how pivotal Ant-Man has been in the MCU. I think it makes me laugh so hard, and they reference it a lot in the movie when he's doing his monologue, like nothing makes sense. You know what I mean? My life makes no sense because he was like the key player in like helping bring back everybody. And then in this, this movie is starting, obviously the march toward Kang Dynasty.
Oh, wow.
And it's just so funny, like how much of an important player, like Scott Lang, played by Paul Rudd, is.
I was talking to Ivan.
Dude, I love Paul Rudd.
I can tell you my theory. Before watching the movie, I was talking to Ivan about the fact that, 5 hours in the quantum realm, 5 years, right? Which is now not the fact. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's a reason why, like you said, Cody, temporal, whatever. My thought process was that he was gonna exit the quantum realm, and we were gonna get a scene from Kang Dynasty, like a.
Yeah, I was like, that'd be hard. That'd be a good ending to it.
Might
but
be a
we
little
didn't.
too early.
I mean-
I like that theory, and that would have been cool. But I think it just because of where Quantumania is like the very first movie of the phase. I think that might be a little too early. But
No, what I imagined wasn't like it was just like the world and like a statue of Kang. You know what I mean? Sort of like
Gotcha.
Loki. Sort of like Loki.
sort of like Loki, yeah. No, I feel you.
But
I think it's got me excited because I think in this new phase, I think they're already off to a good start. You know what I mean? Like Christian, we did that roundtable crossover comics panel where we talked about MCU Phase 4, and I don't know, it's just got me really excited for, like you guys said, Guardians is up next, right? Like we just had an awesome, the best Ant-Man movie for sure, and it's in top half of the MCU going into Guardians 3, and then
Secret
from
Invasion.
there we're just
Secret Invasion.
yep,
Secret
lots of
Invasion,
stuff to be
yeah.
excited for, man.
Bring the scrolls.
Yeah, bring the scrolls. There's a scroll Kang variant, I think, at the very end.
Oh my
there.
god. Oh yeah, I think I saw one there. I was like, he's screaming his head off right now. I think my favorite part of the Ant-Man movie is Dead. Just every time we saw an ant, just
Ants.
ants, Ant-Man.
Yeah. Do me a
trailer.
favor. Anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, please look up Ant-Man Ants. It's a 12-second promo of just Paul Rudd and Michael Douglas ham boning.
It's amazing.
Was that to get ready for Ant-Man 1 or was that for Ant-Man 2?
Ant-Man 1.
Ant-Man 1.
It's
just
perfect.
intensely ants, Ant-Man, and that's it.
Yeah, I remember we went to watch it with our girlfriends. My girlfriend was sitting to. We were sitting like this. My girlfriend was to my left, Ivan was to my right, and Ivan's girlfriend was to Ivan's right. Yep. And I kept, ham boning. And my girlfriend told me, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Ants."
You haven't seen it. You don't get it. You just look like
then,
an idiot,
I explained it. I explained it, and she's like, "Oh, okay, I get it." And then I get movies. I go to work the next day, and I tell Ivan, and he's like, "Oh, my girlfriend was asking me the whole movie."
She was like, "Ivan, why do you keep fucking smacking yourself and say ants?" I'm like, "There's ants. There's ants.
Yeah, that's
all there is to it. There's ants. It's Ant-Man." She was like, "What? It's Ant-Man." I didn't give her no context. It's Ant-Man.
It was a fun movie, man. That's all I have to say. I do want to hear people's opinions. Leave it in the comments. And if you don't leave it in the comments, I won't notice. Because I'll be too excited about the fact that this was a fun episode.
Wow,
this was a fun episode.
That was cool. Oh, thank you. I've had a great time.
To have Ivan on for sure. Absolutely.
I'm definitely down to ever come back again. This was awesome.
I mean, hey, listen, maybe for Guardians, bro.
Oh,
we can do that. We can.
I'm down.
We can arrange that.
I like to get my brain picked. Let's do this. Christian, when's the movie coming out again? I'm excited. I gotta put it in my calendar. Hold on.
But no, I mean, I guess just like closing thoughts on Ant-Man. I think Christian, you said it's a fun movie. Definitely agree. I don't know, man. I'm just excited. To be. It feels like it's been like a little bit of a gap. When was the last like MCU movie?
Black Panther.
Oh, and that was like a couple months ago. Never mind.
Yeah.
Don't listen to me. I was about to say, like, for some reason, it's felt like it's been so long. But or Black Panther was literally like 2 months ago. So don't listen.
I can say this, and this is a thing I remember telling Ivan mid movie. Like I had to get it out of my system. Looking at Kang's outfit, I'm so excited for Doctor Doom.
Oh yeah, you did say that, and I was like, if they mess up Doctor Doom after giving us this and all the other suits they're prepping up, I'm gonna be pissed. Because Doom, we haven't seen Doom since Fantastic Four, and that was a while ago. So they got to do this right. And he made that. I was actually, I'm intrigued. But if I have to put any type of closing thoughts on the Kang, I have great things to expect from Jonathan Majors. I think he gave us a really good opening in just Loki and this. So whatever he's bringing to the table, I'm going to trust him at this character because he's doing a bang up job with it right now. So hopefully the writers don't fuck him up.
That's true. I always say that. That's what I say all the time. But no, I think just to piggyback off that before we close it out, I think Jonathan Majors is like the perfect actor to build like the multiverse saga on, dude. I think he's gonna kill it. Just like Josh Brolin's Thanos, right? I think he plays that part. He plays the intimidating, and he's got all the different variants that we'll be having fun with. So yeah, I think it's great. Ivan, listen, buddy.
Yeah.
Where can people find you? And you got anything like in the works? Any like series or projects you're starting up or anything?
Well, if you want to find me, you can find me on TikTok at Euro's Gift. Hopefully it's somewhere around here. Thank you. I love that promo. Other than that, I just look out for more TikToks to come through there. Other than that, I am working on streaming. I haven't Elgato ain't to dust off, but I'll be there eventually. I now have a webcam and a light. So let's try to get some things in the works. I am a little bit of a procrastinator. I haven't posted in a little bit, but I got it. It's coming soon. It's coming soon.
Nice.
Yeah, other than that, follow Color Break. They're amazing. They're great guys.
Wow, thanks, Ivan. Appreciate that. No, we'll definitely follow him. His links are on the screen, and they're also down in the description. Definitely give him a follow.
Thank you.
Yeah, Cody, you want to close it out? You've been doing great.
Thanks, Christian. That's it.